After nearly 5 hours on the scene, Macon police and SWAT teams and the hostage and negotiations team thought they were responding to perhaps a hostage or barricaded situation. Precinct 2 Commander Major Robert Grabowski says that's not what they found when they got inside the apartment. They have one person in custody and they believe she may have been the only one in the apartment. Major Grabowski says she also seems delusional.
After the SWAT team made entry, they searched the duplex, and it was found to have nobody else inside the duplex. What we're dealing with is a very demented female. I'm not sure if she has a possible split personality or multiple personalities. Not sure if she was the one throwing all the stuff that was heard by officers when the second time that they arrived on the scene. She's being looked at inside the ambulance, and she'll probably be taken to the hospital for evaluation. That being said, we just want to make sure that we gave an update saying that the house has been cleared, it's been deemed safe, and nobody else was found to be inside.
So is the search over at this point?
The search is over at this time. We just now have to get some of the equipment out of the way, and then I understand that one of the first tools that was used was the new Barricaded, the Mark 1, as we named it. That was used to breach the door in situations like that. This turned out to be one of the better tools for breaching that type of door.
What do you mean by breaching the door?
It was somewhat barricaded. We're not clear on why it was barricaded, but when the handheld ram that's normally used by SWAT teams wasn't going to be able to penetrate it, so they used the Barricaded to penetrate the door. Use that to throw the phone to try and establish communication with whoever was inside. So that was one of the tools that was used.
Did the female admit to being alone?
Right now, she's, in my opinion, very somewhat delusional, demented. We're not quite sure what exactly has gone on over here to have the police called out here after 7 o'clock this morning. So that's still ongoing. And like I said, in my opinion, just looking at her when she was coming out and having the hostage negotiators talk with her, it seems as if she is somewhat demented.
So when you say that there's no one else in the home now, is that not to say that there was not before?
Correct. Now, that doesn't mean that there may not have been somebody in there, but by the time the officers all got out here and secured the scene, that doesn't mean that somebody might not have left. But trying to get the information as to exactly what happened from this female individual is extremely hard at this point. And that's why I said, in my opinion, that I think she's somewhat delusional and demented.
Is she being uncooperative?
I don't know if she's being uncooperative, but when you're trying to find and establish information as far as what's going on inside the house and if there's other people, we need to try to get as most secure and accurate information. And when you're dealing with a person of that magnitude, it's hard to try to believe what is truth, what is fiction, and that's why the slow, methodical search, because you just don't know if you know what to believe.
So are you searching for another person?
Are we?
Yes.
Not anymore. At this time, the mission of the SWAT team was to clear the house, make sure there was no hostages, make sure that they get out safely, and then clear the house and deem it necessary, because there are neighbors and people that were put in jeopardy, and they had to be removed from their house. So we want to make sure that it's deemed necessary for people to come up and down the street and get back to normal.
So multiple attempts with the throw phone. At what point did you deem it was safe enough for your officers to enter the building?
Well, once you don't establish communication one way, then there's other ways of trying to establish communication. And once the SWAT team felt that the throw phone wasn't going to work, then they moved to a different scenario and a different way to try to establish that.
You mentioned the woman was delusional, demented. Can you kind of describe what she was saying? Or
I wasn't in there to hear, because that was the job of the hostage negotiators. But when you're trying, like I said, trying to get, she was inside, we're trying to figure out if there's anybody else, what safety features we may be able to find out for the police officers. When you don't get a clear-cut, accurate description and of the events, then it's hard to determine, and you just have to take it and play it safe, and that's what we do.
And I think you just mentioned, how soon would a residents be able to re-enter their home?
As soon as they start clearing out some of the equipment and unblocking the streets, everybody be able to go up and down the street and get back to normal.
Any damage to the structure of doors?
You know what, I don't know, I wasn't able to get close enough to find out.
What's next in your investigation at this point?
The investigators will try and still establish communication, maybe talk more with some neighbors, go back and just, you know, continue on with the investigation. There is the possibility that there was somebody else there in the night, so they're gonna have to go back and try and find out if anybody saw anything, heard anything. We just don't know at this point, you know, what exactly happened there to call the police.
Would there be any possible charges against her if it turns out she was the only one and
You know,
she called police?
I'm unsure of that, and based on her state of mind, that'll have a lot to do with it as well.
At this point, Macon police are still continuing their investigation. They're not sure if someone may have left the apartment before they got on the scene, and we'll have the most up-to-date information for you on this investigation tonight on the news at 6. Reporting in Macon, Ashley Minnelli, 41 NBC News.